Film number one of today's episode that we're going to discuss and review is Richard Jewell, released on January the 31st, 2020, directed by Clint Eastwood. We had Paul Walter Hauser as Richard Jewell, Sam Rockwell as Watson Bryant, Kathy Bates as Barbara Bobby Jewell, and John Hamm as FBI agent Tom Shaw. Now, don't crucify me for this because this was taken off IMDb, so I didn't get this off Google, but it is a bit long. American security guard Richard Jewell saves thousands of lives from an exploding bomb at the 1996 Olympics, but is vilified by journalists and the press who falsely reported that he was a terrorist.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Hey!
Giles, were you entertained?
No.
Amari, were you entertained?
Wow. Oh my God.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Yes. What kind? You know what?
No.
Oh!
My God.
Whoa!
I'm off my chair.
Are we talking about Richard Jewell here?
Yeah, we
are. No, I was not. Thank you.
And he said he would pay.
No.
2 and 2. I was entertained.
Let the nose have it then,
Let's
innit?
let the nose have the table.
Bored.
Boy.
Boring. Where do I start?
Wow.
It's boring.
Wow.
Do you know what? I must say, Clint Eastwood. I love Clint Eastwood, and I love some of his work, but he often does this. He often makes these films that actually, yeah.
Wow.
And to be honest with you, there's a film that comes to mind. It's the one where he used the actual people from.
Is it
317
from Paris? Or
yeah,
something? Yeah.
Jesus, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up as well.
He actually, the fact that, okay, kudos to him for actually using the real people that were involved in
It's a
this.
ballsy move. It's a ballsy move.
Yeah, but the fact that they can't act, and when you're making a film, you need actors. But yeah, that aside, I just think it's just one of these films that, yeah, it's a good story. Don't get me wrong, it is a good
Did you
story.
enjoy the story?
I did enjoy the story.
Did you enjoy the story?
I did at first, but then it just
tailed
went
off.
nowhere.
Yeah.
It actually went nowhere. There was no excitement about this film.
I can. Do you know what? I can agree with Carl on that because, sort of. You don't know unless you do the research. You don't know what's going to happen for starters. But when it got to the point where he's now public enemy number one, the FBI are really trying to get him. The media's trying to get him. There did come a point. I think it was around a time where the scene where his mum breaks down, where I did kind of feel like.
What, when she did a press conference?
No. Sorry, in the house.
In the house when they're taking her underwear.
Yeah. No. Later on, so when the friend comes round, his actual ride or die, and he inadvertently says, "Oh, I've actually told him stuff I didn't."
The one who
need
they
to."
said was his gay lover.
Yeah.
And then I think she puts her film in there's a bomb and then she
and
gets
it's
really
like,
upset. At that point, I think we're about an hour and a bit in, and I was kind of like, okay, like
it was.
It did slow down. It wasn't a fast pace to start with.
No.
But it did kind of plateau and then kind of didn't really go anywhere. I will agree with you for that.
It went nowhere.
I don't agree.
It actually went nowhere.
It went many places. Anyway,
it really didn't.
First and foremost, right? You knew it was a Clint Eastwood film, so you know it's going to be on the slow side automatically.
That's fine.
I don't have a problem with that.
That's fine.
Because it was my
That's
first
true.
reservation about, you go in those preconceived. I thought, he makes slow films. I was like, we're going to see how this one goes. So now I'm all like, okay, cool, let's go, let's do it. I'm watching it now, and I'm like, hey, this story's lit. Hey, what do you mean? And then in my mind, I was like, there was a line, the line that Sam. Well, it's Brian's the wife.
Sam.
Not Sam. Not his character.
But can I just drop a bomb for Sam Rockwell?
We're going to talk about him in a minute. Don't worry, because the things he was saying, and the manner, I was like, this guy can act. And
He was the only good part of the film.
But
he wasn't.
Did the rest of you like it's deep? Yeah. But do you ever get this when you see actors that have played iconic roles and all you can think about is roles? So whenever I see his face, I just think of Green Mile. Did you get that?
I was thinking of him. I was thinking of 3 Billboards in Mississippi.
I still need to watch that.
That's a serious film.
Anyway, that's a serious film, but he was serious in that
As
film
opposed
as
to
well.
this.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, Anyway, there was a line where his assistant became his wife, where there was a line that says, you know when the government keep on saying somebody done something so guilty so fast and nobody actually understands how they're guilty, it means it's a lie. That's what they do in my country. Is it the same here?
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah. That was the script was good. There was a lot of
bars, and then,
there was.
and man called it. Nah, what do you mean? It was great.
No.
So let's talk. All right, let's talk about.
And then, but no, there's another thing. But no, I want to talk about also the fact that they were using in-scene footage of actually how it was going back in the time
I
there,
liked that.
and then coming back into
I liked
the
that
way
a
the
lot.
portrayal. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I liked
and
that a
seeing
lot.
the old cameras that they used to run around with, and then seeing how they went back and forth, and it was like, this is the genuine way, this is how it was, this is the vibe that was going on. I was like,
The scene that I picked up on that the most was when Sam Rockwell goes to the phone booth and it's cut in between the race. Is it, what's his name?
Michael Johnson.
That's it, and it cut in between.
And,
And
he's
I like that mix of
and
the
it was
real
like, but
footage with the.
it was because it was a part, because it's like, so you're gonna try to tell me in 1 minute, and Michael Johnson's doing his 20 seconds, so he has to be faster than this man to run from here to the park back to the phone booth. But now he's an accomplice.
As I said, I'm not saying the story wasn't good, but it wasn't. I wasn't entertained by it. Like,
Let me bring up a topic of discussion. What did you think of the character of Richard Jewell?
One of the most annoying characters I've
Yep.
seen in a
Oh
while.
my gosh.
yeah, he was annoying.
Listen, this is what took the film down for me. His character,
annoying.
yeah. You see when they came to search his house.
The way how he just complied.
Yeah.
He just complied with everything.
The anger it caused, it was mad.
Seriously, I was getting angry. I was
Yeah.
like, why is this guy doing this?
Yeah, but
why is he doing this?
But don't you rate the acting ability of
No.
it?
It got past. It actually got to. I hate this guy now.
Yeah, he was
I
annoying.
actually hate this guy now.
Like
because,
I was watching it thinking, can you not see what they're doing to you?
and to me, that's to me. I think again, that's
Like, I
an
get you wanted-
exaggeration.
Exactly.
I doubt this actually happened. They just wanted to show he loves the cops so much
Yeah.
and wants to be a cop so much that he's. But I don't think in real life he would have been on that kind of level when they made him phone up and say, "Yeah, this is a bot." And I was just, why is he doing this?
Because the joke is, I mean, actually, when Carl puts it like that, I know, I can see it and hear it. The joke is, when you think about it, I agree with Carl because he wanted to be a cop, and a cop, a police officer or whatever, and a law enforcement officer. And he's got to have some sense of, well, what's going on. And actually, he did show that.
Exactly.
In because actually, kudos to Richard Jewell. He was the one who was suspicious of staff. So he was suspicious of all this stuff, but almost oblivious to the fact that these people were manipulating him.
Yeah, that was too much.
Let me make a point on that.
Let me make a point of manipulation. You don't actually know. It's
No, because he
Nah.
studied the police.
No, but
so
listen,
he
yeah.
knows
Yeah.
all of their tactics.
He wasn't a stupid guy, basically.
And that's
but
that's
he
what
wasn't
that
a
scene
stupid guy.
annoyed me. It made it seem like he was almost a fool
Yeah.
in a way. Like
Yeah.
he's got disabilities
Yeah.
of some sort.
Yeah.
That's what I got. And I was like, no, that's not his character.
Yeah. I very, very, very early on into the film, I connected with the character in the sense of some people are just nice people. This guy, to me, his character, he didn't have a negative bone in his body. And that was brought to life by the way the relationship between him and his mum plays out. Very early on, it's clear to see that for whatever reason that is beknownst to us, that he has this sort of this love for law enforcement and for just doing the right thing. So when we're then going into the scenes where he couldn't help himself and Sam Rockwell's starting to get annoyed because he's like, can you not see how these people are taking the piss? And he just, all he wanted to do was do the right thing. And you've got to think as well, that's sort of like from the scene with the bomb, and that's a very extreme situation to be in. And again, he was just doing his job. So to me, it was like all he cared about was just being a nice human
And protecting people.
So, on the other side of your argument, yes, it did make him look silly. Yes, it did. But it actually made me sympathise that, all this guy wants to do is be some sort of law enforcement officer and do the right thing. And even though these people are trying to frame him and make him look like a bad guy, he understands that they're just doing their job. And from one, because I think that phrase was even used quite a lot, from one law enforcement to the other, he's going to help him do that. So it didn't annoy me. I thought his character was excellent. I thought the actor that played him
I thought the acting was
outstanding. Outstanding.
Nah.
Yeah.
Because he had like quite a simplistic character, but in the sense of the film, I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, you are.
But in the
You
sense
basically
of
just
the
called
film,
him a simpleton.
a dum dum.
Yeah.
You fucking momo. No, I really like. I sympathised, and even like I said, the relationship with him and his mum, you know, like he said, that typical. Because even that, and we're gonna get onto her in a minute, but that Kate woman, the media woman, when
the slippery slope.
So, what did you like her?
That's what she was.
Did you like her?
did I like her?
I like the portrayal of her character. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
Did I like her? He says. Bruv.
But why? No.
All right. Let's keep it moving. Like, we all know that when you watch films and media's like, there's always that kind of that see you next Tuesday in the media. That all they're on is themselves. They don't care about anyone else. They just want to, you know, because the sway that the media has, the power. They just want to do what they're going to do, say what they're going to say, not care. But I just didn't like the way she was doing it. There was a bit scenes where she would end up in the back of
the car.
That was ridiculous. How did she get in there?
That was bad. That was
I've got it on my notes.
That was bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was bad.
She
I
just
was like,
popped up in the car.
and then she's like,
Crazy.
oh, don't worry, just give me a
Crazy.
little, you know, I helped the police, and I was like,
Yeah.
and I was
Hokey.
like,
Where did her
Hokey.
story even end? What was the purpose of her?
oh,
So she went and
She was
did
the mouthpiece, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So Sam Rockwell went into the office, got onto her. She
he
decided,
gets a- he
okay,
gets a bomb
I'm
for
going to
that,
do
because
the
the way that he
walk.
did that.
I'm
Right,
going to
but
do
he
the walk
savaged her.
between the phone booth and where the phone, and that was it. Didn't really see her again.
And then she completely came down.
She went to John Hamm, was saying, oh yeah, he's innocent, but that was it. There was nothing else. So she served no purpose.
she did. She broke the story. That was her purpose.
But after that point, there was nothing. So
Yeah.
why was she?
And I just
pointless-
didn't like the way
pointless
that her character was introduced as well.
Yeah,
like,
it was just hokey.
It was a
It was
bit.
hokey.
It was. No, it was.
No,
it was.
I don't-
It was.
I liked her
And
character
the
apart
acting
from the
was
car.
not good either.
I said I liked her character. I didn't say the acting. We're not talking about that part. I said I like her character. Because you can actually see people in the media who would actually act in that manner.
Oh, for sure, 100%. For sure.
And I was like, that seems like I don't know the true story or depth, but I feel like if it was her or somebody must have been like that.
Yeah, but I think
situation.
it could have been shown in a better way, which again goes back to Clint Eastwood. He's lost it.
I wouldn't say.
I wouldn't say no. See, I wouldn't say.
Wow.
I wouldn't say he's lost it.
He has
He-
really
he
made
went-
some
he-
bad films.
He has.
I think he needs to retire.
I have missed his last few titles.
Did you
so-
watch that 317 to Paris?
Oh,
No,
listen,
but
no. Do
It's
you know what?
universally slain though.
Yeah, that is. It's one of the worst films I've ever seen.
No, but listen.
Wow,
Listen.
ever.
No, but
No,
but
ever,
listen.
ever.
No, but listen. Let's have it right, because if we all got the call now to be featured in a film tomorrow in Hollywood,
Go and
about-
take acting lessons.
No, but let's say we didn't, and then
On the flight over, I download you acting lessons.
But the point is,
Like, I-
but that have you watched it?
No, I haven't.
It's
Oh,
you
not
need
just
to watch
about
it.
the acting. It's about nothing happens in the film. They go to Europe and something's meant to be exciting. Him going to a gallery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's
friends,
nothing
him and his friends.
that happens. It's just a boring film. That's what I'm saying. This film, it's all in relation. He wants to make a film about heroes.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
About heroes.
Question: did he do the one with Bradley Cooper, the sniper one?
yeah.
That was him as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I wanted to fact check
No,
that.
I've got it here. Yeah, he produced that.
Wait, that's the film where you
Did he direct
With the
it?
fake
though? Did he
baby.
produce
No,
it?
wait, no, that's the film where you make a film about a man going to another country to kill people.
Yeah, he directed it as well.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
directed and produced that.
So that's what I'm saying. It's this whole hero thing. But he made another film, Hereafter, with Matt Damon. I don't know if any of you saw
Matt
that.
Damon.
That was about 2012, 2013. But again,
Was it Matt Damon?
And this is what I said at the this is what I said at the beginning. He does these films sometimes where actually they're out of this world. You know,
but how long ago?
Changeling.
That's a bad film.
I missed that.
Bad film.
But
Angelina
that-
Jolie.
How old is that though?
It is.
Nah,
it's
that's
a
going
little
back.
bit old.
That's going back.
What was his last good film? $1 Million Baby.
Wow.
No.
Do you watch The Mill? Did anyone
Yeah, I watched The Mule. I watched The
What
Mule.
would you rate it?
I liked it.
I didn't see that.
I'd give that a 3, almost a 4.
So that's what, and that was only like 2 years ago. innit?
I didn't watch that. I thought his last.
The Mule's
okay.
good. The Mule's.
Okay.
Do you know what? I tell you what works actually, because I'm seeing a kind of a theme in his later films. If he's in them,
fine.
then they're actually
Max.
okay.
Yeah.
If he's not in them, and
Well, like Gran Turismo, so that was okay too.
Gran Turismo, Gran Turismo is a PlayStation game.
Torino.
I think he'll care.
Are we bringing back homework?
No way.
Says the guy who never does it.
Oh, hell.
Nothing much to say about that
Too
one.
easy.
But all right. So Can I make a very serious point though? Can I make a serious point? Macarena is a tune. You know?
Hey, listen,
When that scene started, I was like, it took me back. It took me. I thought,
So clearly you're not playing it in your DJ sets enough. You need to get it. You need to get it in rotation.
Or even when you do them cheese.
you got to.
Don't you play
You
that?
got to. Yeah, you got to. You got to. Yeah, come on.
back to back with cha-cha slides.
On a
Come in with a mix.
Have you actually researched that song?
The funniest thing is I was going to research it after I watched this film.
I'm not even going to tell you. Go and have a look because it caused a lot of controversy back in the day. I don't know if you remember, but when you actually read what he's saying, it's mad. That's all I'm
I
gonna
was
say.
just curious as to, obviously this is before, so how did a song like that get so big?
Yeah,
Just
over the
airplay.
world?
Just
People act it,
airplay.
innit?
Just
People act it.
airplay. Remember,
You have
this
to- you have
is
to pay the respect.
when was this? 96.
96.
So it would have been music videos.
Yeah,
Music,
And
radio,
radio.
music
yeah.
videos. That was it.
But even that,
Remember the box?
having that
Yeah.
conversation when you watch films like and that take us back to the 90s. Obviously, like that's where we came up. You was what sort of late
I left
20s.
school.
You left school.
Let's go with the 90s. Yeah. Allegedly.
But it does it throws me back, and I was asking myself the same question. I was like, this was a world phenomenon, and it just I find it fascinating because obviously back then we didn't know we was kids in it. So
Exactly.
looking back on it now, watching the Just Mercy the other day, and then I was looking at the fashion sense and stuff like that, and it's mad how much things have changed, but
Or not changed.
or not changed, or are coming back,
Yeah. Or got worse.
and that as well.
Balenciagas.
What did you What did you think of the
So unnecessary shady dig, like, and it wasn't even shade. It was like, full cover eclipse right here.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
They are
They're
man.
taking the piss.
Man's
That's what they're
walking around
doing.
with
Side note,
shoeboxes on their-
they're taking the. Do you know? Anyway, I might just randomly just spout out stuff for. But anyway, go on.
What did you lot all think of the actual bomb scene? So from the start of the discovery to it exploding, and what were your thoughts on that? Because I personally thought it was very good.
I did see. I see that. Like I said, it was a good story, and I won't stray from the fact that it was a good story. However, it was just the length of the film and how the film was done. Yes, I did like the retrospective clips and you know how the way they cut it into the actual film, but it was just boring. You know, it was okay. This has happened. Everyone blatantly knows it's not him, but we need a full guy. So we're going to use this guy because he discovered it, even though he doesn't fit any of the profiles that we would normally go with. And then we're just going to slowly but surely fit him up for it. And he's just going to be unaware of,
Scary, innit?
of what's going on.
Scary.
We're going to make the media kind of sound it out so that everyone knows that he's the guy. And then, and we're just going to run with it. It is scary because it goes on a lot more than people think.
And that's the thing. You look at how interesting Making a Murderer was. Yeah. And you look at this.
Look at the sneer. Look at the sneer. The sneer and the snarl in his face as he said that.
There's ways you could tell these stories in a much better fashion.
There are.
And
That's
this,
true.
as Giles was saying, the story was good. It had potential, but the way it was shot, the way it was delivered was boring. That bomb scene specifically, it was okay. It was okay. I took more note of the fact that, again, people never really take it seriously. He's telling people to get out.
Do you know
There's a
what?
bomb.
It's funny you should mention that.
Like, listen,
People
when
just
you
don't wanna do their
as I
job.
said,
It's just-
I'm used to it. I'm
It's
from
not-
DC.
The joke is, and here's a little TFL gold moment coming up here. I can remember my first day, and again, this was just after the 90s, so this was the early millennium, when people were thinking that there was going to be a millennium bug and all of that nonsense. But anyway, I've started work on the Underground, and my very first day, we had like a bomb alert. And I remember being told, you need to go down to the platform. So I've seen this scenario in training, the 8-week training thing that I did over in South Kensington. And literally I remember going down to the platform and saying to people, we need to clear the station. And literally people just looked at me as if to say, but on the dot matrix it says there's a train coming in 1 minute. And the joke was, and like they just literally just carried on what they were doing. And then the joke was, obviously because it was a wide line alert, the the tube didn't stop. It carried on going. And people still sat there. So even though I've said to them, we need to go, the tube's turned up, it hasn't stopped. They still sat there because, oh, look, it says 2 minutes now on the door matrix. But people don't listen.
Human nature.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. And even, I mean, look, it's a very sensitive subject, but even if you look at, you know, the light of the last few years, I would be more inclined in London now that if something like that was to happen, people wouldn't think twice. I think if we...
I don't know though, man.
You don't think?
No.
You don't think?
No, do you know what? I think people are so desensitized by absolutely... I mean, violence isn't violent to everyone. Like, people see... People's first instinct, if there was a bomb, and then their first instinct would be to get their phone out and record it, not to actually get away.
True.
That's like... people have just become voyeurs.
That's true. And
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mobile phones.
Yeah,
social
absolutely.
media,
Like, people are so desensitized to the realness or the seriousness of anything that I don't think people, and it's almost like their senses have been kind of lulled. You know?
No, I agree.
But anyway,
I agree.
let me get off my soapbox.
Favorite scenes, Kyle?
As I said it when he went and gave it to the journalist in the office. When
Yeah.
I like the way he dealt with her.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing else.
For me, it was
pockets.
empty pockets, empty pockets.
Wow.
I
For
didn't
me, it was
enjoy this film.
No, neither did I. But for me, it was the initial build up to him discovering the bomb, and then even like. So he's got an inkling. He's gone and got the guys because I think he told those group of kids.
Yeah, because he was a renter cop. They saw him as a renter cop, and they didn't.
No one took him seriously.
No
So he's went and got the serious guys. And I did like the way how he was kind of running around frantically because I think he even went up to the tower.
Yeah.
And the guys are like,
The guy, they was in the middle of their set.
yeah, they're like,
just stop. Like,
and again, going back to what I said, and this is from '96, that people were just
Not on it. Yeah.
not on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my favourite scene.
Amari.
I had a couple. Obviously, I like that line with the.
Just one, please.
I have a couple. I like the line with the wife, with the soon-to-be wife, talking about what do governments do. Also, like the actual scene when the first time when the lawyer, we're gonna call him Rockwell, or what?
Sam Rockwell.
I'm gonna call him whatever it is. Yeah,
You know we do.
when he was calling FBI, the first phone call he had to FBI, it was like, oh, it didn't work. So then he called him again. So what I'm gonna do next is, after this call,
60
I'm gonna
minutes.
call 60 minutes.
Yeah,
and I was like, how is 60 minutes pressurizing people so
'Cause we
much?
saw this in the last film.
60 minutes. What are you pressure?
thought the same
How
thing.
can you just say the 60 minutes and that's it? How can something
Media,
apply that much pressure though? It's mad. So yeah, I liked. To be fair, most of these scenes when you was doing any sort of monologue conversation was serious. To be fair.
See, I had a couple as well.
Oh wait, and the savagery of the let's go for a trip for a training video.
Stole it. That was my favorite scene.
And then the two elements. First, there was the lie, the Decepticon behavior, and then he had the audacity after the Decepticon then to say, "We're gonna sign a piece of paper." No. Okay, so what we're gonna do now? Throw this tape away.
We're gonna pretend like none of that happened. Nah, it was deep. That got me as well. The way that he said, "Give us a sec." He's walked outside. He come back by himself.
And he
We're gonna throw this tape away.
And what we're gonna do? We're now gonna memorize.
John Hamm played that part very well. I did like. He didn't have that much to do, but he made it believable that this is a guy who just wants to get
him.
someone. He don't care who it is. My favourite scene, other than that one, was the at the end when Richard actually he has the deposition, and he stands up for himself and he kind of, all the stuff that you said you didn't like about his character. It's like,
because he had the line of saying, if science security guard ever sees anything, do you think they're ever going to?
Okay.
Do you think they're ever going to say anything again?
Do you know what? It's funny that sometimes, we all watch these films separately, and like we'll come here and discuss, and it'll be certain manner on exactly the same page because that got me as well.
That was the best part of the whole film.
Realistic.
Is in terms of the best text, whatever speech, whatever's dialogue. It was the best of the whole film.
Yeah,
because it was so precisely. What would you do, or what is somebody else going to do in that situation?
When was this delivered?
This was in a deposition at the end.
That's probably why we.
Yeah, I was done at that point.
Well, exactly. Well, we've been done. I personally was done way before.
Yeah, I just didn't care. I just
No.
did not care.
And I think
It is what it is.
It was fake. It was too forced. That it was too go again when his mum gives a speech. It was too forced.
There were
There were
elements of
piano
that
keys playing. I
it
didn't
went.
care. Like it was
Now,
forced.
You know what's funny about?
He tried to force the emotion.
You know what I found funny? It was every time they was doing a little speech with either the mum or inside.
You heard the piano keys.
Yeah, but or the FBI room, you kept on seeing the Confederate flag more than you saw the
Yeah,
USA flag.
yeah.
And
I
I was
saw
like,
that. I
you
saw that.
guys are bantering me so much right now. I
saw that.
I was,
Right, scores on the doors. I'm gonna start with you, Kyle.
Yeah, 1 star.
Mad.
One word, disappointed.
Even I'm laughing.
Disappointed all round. As
What
I
do you
said,
mean all round?
Sam Rockwell was the only good part of this film. His performance was
gives
good,
it
but he's a quality
He
actor.
gives it another star at least, surely.
Now, I did debate between 1 and 2, but the more I've been thinking about it today, it's 1. Yeah, because again, Clint Eastwood, he's done. He does need to retire.
He is getting on now.
His art
He
of
is.
storytelling has diminished.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that Mule film, but the last 3-4 films I've watched of his have just been disappointing, and he's tarnishing his legacy at this point. The plot was, again, it was okay, but disappointing. Didn't really go anywhere, no excitement. And yeah,
Sorry,
there's
Giles
not
is
really
doing-
much else to say, to be honest. There's not much else to say. I'm just very
All I'll
disappointed.
say
So,
is I
yeah.
hope you don't bump into him on your way home. Amari.
Listen, the day he's having, he just might, mate. He ain't even got a phone to fucking phone for help. You're gonna see, he'll be walking out and he'll just see Clint Eastwood just going.
Amari, what are you giving this score, bro?
4 stars.
4 stars.
Look at
He nearly choked. He nearly choked. He nearly choked.
I told you I enjoyed the film. Yeah, I literally told you at the beginning I enjoyed the film. And when you man was saying no, I was looking at you like, idiots, what's wrong with you? So why are you confused that I'm giving it 4? What do you mean how? I just
Anyway,
told you why.
continue,
The whole
but-
everything I've said about this film, it's why I enjoyed it. It has a couple false moments. Yeah, it could have been a 3. But I just like certain, and I actually like the way it was shot as well. So I was like, when I put all these things in, I can give you a 4, you know? And to know that I know nothing about the actual storyline or anything that's going on, it was a nice, to be fair, I will say that halfway through the film, there was a game that was being played with the film. So every time bomb was said, you had to have a sip of your drink.
But hold on. So you've gone in to watch this film with your own entertainment.
Hey, listen, do you know how bad
This
it was?
is why he was fucking entertained. He wasn't entertained, he was
That's what I'm
fucking
saying.
shit faced.
But wait, do you know what made it worse? Is that I was fine until he
said bomb, and then they said bomb again, and then they said bomb again.
Hey, it wasn't even that until we got to the voice recorder part. Now just say it again at a different pitch.
Oh, and he just kept saying it. Finished. Well, it makes a lot of sense now.
No, but I said all the reasons I enjoyed it. That was before. Like, we really got to that part at the end.
Yeah, disclaimer, I was drunk at the time.
Exactly.
Hey, your rating's your rating, man. You know how it is. 4 stars from Amari.
Yes.
Jilo, what are you giving this?
Give me a 2.
Huh?
Give me a 2.
I am going to give you a 2.
Yes!
It is 2 stars for me. It's not the worst. Like I said, and I keep on saying it, I did enjoy the story. It was, for me, it was the fact that they didn't kind of take it, and I think you talked about it plateauing. They didn't take it to the next level for me. I'd have I don't know. I mean, I don't actually, thinking about it retrospectively, I don't actually know what I wanted more from the film. It's another one of these true stories. And these stories should come to light. I do agree with that, you know, because it was a liberty what they did to the guy. However, just the whole execution of the film, I just found it boring. You know, I wasn't kind of like, oh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? It was like, okay, he's going to get off. I know he's going to get off because they can't continue to just.
No, the fact that it was 88 days before he was released as number 1 suspect, and then we're just not even charging you.
Yeah.
Do you know how mad?
And again,
Do you know how mad?
it's
Because that, and do you know what? Off that, I think that shouldn't have been delivered in that way, because that is something.
But the joke
that you
is,
could
as someone who's not, well, I've never been accused of bombing anything, but I've been accused of stuff, and then it's been unproven. That is kind of how it happens.
Yeah.
It is kind of yeah. Oh, actually, and then there's nothing.
Okay.
And
so it's quite realistic. In that
yeah,
sense.
it is. But I just
the way it was executed.
Yeah.
I mean,
they didn't even show, say, a motive for the FBI really wanting to go for him.
yeah.
Other than that first. So again, you didn't have a back and forth. There was no real understanding.
Yeah, and that's what was lacking for me. So I gave this 3 stars. I liked the story a lot. I thought that the acting was good. I loved the Richard Jewell character. I believed it. I bought into the story. It made me ponder about terrorism. It made me ponder about human interaction, human response. It also made me think about, and again, unfortunately, it's America, but America is the devil, as we all know, but about their law enforcement, their laws, the FBI, the media. And I just really sympathise with this sort of public enemy number one. The one guy that out of everyone there, due to the way we're seeing it, would have been, the least, he wouldn't have wanted anything bad to happen to anyone. And he was the guy they chose to basically bastardize him and put it on it. It was horrible. And especially because we had the little sort of beginning where we see him, with Sam Rockwell when he's like just putting the Snickers in. There's people like that just want to do good things, nice things. And the fact that it was him, I thought it was bad. It was bad, and I sympathised with it. Yes, the pacing was slow, but I think it gave it a bit more of a realistic sort of running clock feel to the film. But I do agree with what you're saying, Kai, in terms of that it did kind of hit a point where it kind of just plateaued, and there were elements and things that happened in the film that could have been given more context, could have been made a bit more intricate and interesting, maybe some twists, or like you say, show a bit more of the FBI side, and it would have given the film a bit more depth. But I don't think that's what Clint Eastwood was going for. I think he, like you say, just wanted to highlight the hero. This film was all about the Richard Jewell character, hence the name of the film. But yeah, it did lack, I think, some depth to it. And yeah, I'd groaning off what Giles was saying. The ending, it makes sense, but it could have been something more to really make you leave the cinema, especially that he died as well, like in real life.
Okay,
like,
to be fair, right? When I was watching the film, I saw a man holding his chest multiple times.
They foreshadowed it.
They did that. And I think it alludes to the stress that he was being put under. I mean, obviously his diet wasn't the best either, but I think they allure to the fact that it was the FBI that inadvertently killed him.
Yeah, from the day shall come. That lost episode that Giles talks about.
Yeah,
that's how you do this kind of film. Really wish we would have discussed that.
Are we talking about films that we haven't?
Well. Yes, but that
what's
really
that?
shows about an innocent man being framed.
Wait, behave yourself.
Everyone watch that film.
So, before we get into that conversation,
wait. This is the first time we've done 4, 3, 2, 1 as a star rating for a film. Just a little
this
nugget.
observant guy.
And this, I know, this isn't really Carl Taylor sitting in front of me, because that is something that he would normally say.
It's true, isn't it?
I was gonna say, I beat you to it because I was thinking 1, 2, 3, 4.
So we're giving Richard Jewell a TMRG star rating of 3 stars.
Those movie review guys.
Subscribe to the podcast and stream full episodes on all major streaming platforms.